Hey everybody, we're here on the second floor up above the giant cathedral opening, and we're working on the bathroom. See Leah in there? And so I just wanted to give you some perspective. Now this bathroom goes up about 9.5 feet at the high end, down to about 8 or so at the low end. So it's a pretty high ceiling. Has a small door, 24-inch opening, which is not too bad for a bathroom, but it's a little tight in here. And what we're going to have when you walk in here is this corner area where there's storage all the way up for stuff, and then we're going to have a nice little
sink.
Yeah, what is it called? Pedestal sink here.
Sink.
And we'll have
shelves
some
along
shelves
the wall,
here.
and a shitter here.
Yeah. Now we're going to talk about putting a tub in correctly real quick. You need a few things. You need to have a ledger board back here where you set the tub at, and you also need to have something under your tub. A lot of people use cement. We used foam. And the foam goes in after the tub is set. The tub is set completely plumb and level. If it pitches anyway, you want it to pitch a little bit into the tub, which means this corner can be a slightly low, but your best bet is to have everything level. And then put in a shower door with a channel here to keep all the water inside. Now also to keep the water inside, we're going to use this nice shower door system. It's going to go up about 5 feet above the tub here. You want to have tile that comes a minimum, and based on the standard, 5 feet. And a lot of you will notice that your shower head comes out above the tile, just a few inches. So we want to eliminate this, and we're going to tile a foot above that. So we're actually going to have 6 foot of tile up in here. And that way we don't have to worry about any leaks or wetness around the shower head.
Or overspray.
Yeah, any of that. So that's the idea here. Next, you want to waterproof the rim of your tub. Now, the way you do that is you first install some kind of blocking all around the entire tub enclosure, which you can see here. This is the blocking. That gives you some kind of a solid transition from the whatever your type of material you're using, fiberglass or whatever the tub is, up into the backing here, so that there's not an obvious hole where water can fall through. And then you want to waterproof that blocking to the tub. So I'll show them how to do that. You want to grab that? Mm-hmm. Let's just go in this corner here. Mm-hmm. So the material I'm using is Vicor Plus. It's left over from all our windows. This is what you would use in roofing or any house building. It's a 20-30 year waterproofing flashing that's rubberized. So when I hear 20-30 year old rubberized flashing, I think that this is probably a good product for my tub. Now the way you want to put this in is you want to first waterproof the corners. So I've waterproofed this corner first, and this is the very first step in waterproofing your tub after the backing is in. You waterproof the corners. And this just keeps this 30-year flashing. If any water gets into this tub, it's going to come into the tub. And then you simply do it like roofing. I'm going to then seal the edges here. Now the key to putting this stuff in is that you don't want to come all the way down onto the tub. You always want to use about a 1/2 inch reveal. So you're only going to take half of this distance and cover it, and then attach it just like that. So that's how we're going to waterproof this section, and you can see in that corner we've already done it. That's what the finished corner looks like. And also, I've got flashing going all the way down the sides here. So ultimately it's pretty easy stuff to put in. I'm going to put in this big piece, and you're just going to want to peel the membrane out. Remember that working temperature of this, the workability changes with the temperature. So in here it's cool, it's like 65, 70. Mm-hmm. It's workable, it's not that sticky. If it's 10 degrees hotter, this becomes a nightmare. So you might want to cut smaller pieces. But the way I'm going to do this is just free half of it so I can work with it. And then I'm just going to put it in place here. Now, the key in the back of the tub here is to cover these screws here. And the screws also have washers in it. So I'm just going to really gently lay this in where I want it to be. Just like that. And I'm going to pull the back as I go. Now you want to be careful not to accidentally hit your tub with this. Because you remember when we got a little black on there?
Mm-hmm. Real pain in the butt to get off.
Come off easy. And then make sure that this best part of this seal is right at the tub. Because I'm trying to make it waterproof. Not pretty. Nothing to do with pretty. And then you're going to want to just work it on there. Now this is going to give you a 20-year waterproof seal that even if your tile falls off, your cement board rots 4 inches up off the bottom, you never caulk it, it won't matter. The water's still going to run into the tub. So it's very important if you're in a second floor application to be doing this type of waterproofing. I see a lot of videos on YouTube that do not do anything like this. They put no backing in, no waterproofing.
Just cement board.
And they just go with cement board. So Leah's never put a piece of this in on a tub. And just to show you how simple it is, she's going to do one. And you just want to take your time and breathe. It's not a difficult process.
Don't psych yourself out.
Yeah, and if you've never used it before, it's like masking tape or like giant piece of duct tape.
But going to be really careful not to get this stuck to itself.
Yeah, it's over once it sticks to itself. Right there. Beautiful. Now a couple things you want to consider right here is the lap. So this flashing was on first, the lower flashing, and then the upper flashing was over top of it.
Look what I just did.
You'll be alright.
So I just smush it down in
Yeah,
there?
just make sure it's flat and smushed.
Okay.
We're going to cover it.
Okay, not perfect, but
Yeah, that's
doesn't
fine.
need to be.
I had a pot spot like that.
Uh-huh.
So
That's okay.
yeah, it's good. Yeah, and then we're golden. And that's it. So that's the proper way to perimeter waterproof your tub. Okay, the next step is going to be tar paper. So you want to have 30 weight tar paper or Tyvek home wrap. And the first thing you're going to do is do the corners. And you're going to cut little strips. And you're just going to strip out the corner and overlap this corner like we first did. And you do it to the two corners. And then we're going to take a full sheet. You want to go in there? And we're just going to hold it up as if you would put it in there. And we're just going to put the full sheet in all the way down to a 1/2 inch. Keep coming, above the tub. And then we're just going to staple this product in. So we're going to be back after the tar paper is stapled in, and then we'll show you how to do the Durock.
Not the best cut.
I bet you it'll be behind the drywall.
Oh, it will be behind the drywall. This one's a little extra.
Alright, so we've got the enclosure sealed in here, and let me go into the bathroom and we'll show you what that's all about. So that's the back side looks like. Now if you're building a tub on an exterior wall, you need to insulate behind this. So there's that. But if it's an interior wall, that's not really necessary, but you need the blocking and the waterproofing. So now we've run the 30-pound felt 6.5 feet up, and the final phase now is to put in the Durock. Now Durock comes in these 5-foot sections. They're 5 foot by 3 foot for good reason. The standard tub enclosure is 5 foot wide. So you just put 2 strips down and you're done. And also here. Now what a lot of guys do is they'll put one of these vertical here, 5 feet high, and that's where your 5 foot high tub comes from. They'll only go vertical with it to 5 feet and then put another sheet here to 5 feet, cut a 2 foot piece here, and that way they just have 1, 2, 3, 4 seams, where we're going to have horizontal seams in here. And the reason that is because your upper seam, where it makes the transition to drywall, you want to have one of these edges. Because if you have a drywall edge coming up to one of these edges, they're meant for tape. And then you can officially transition from the Durock to your drywall perfectly. You also want to make sure that you buy the same size thickness Durock as your drywall you're using. If you're using exterior wall and you're using 5/8 drywall, you need to get the 5/8 Durock. But because we're in the 1/2 inch interior portion of our house, we need to match it with 1/2 inch. You also need proprietary screws. So Wonderboard and Durock are the same thing, and you need to get the Wonderboard Durock screw. There is other types of boards, cement boards, and they have matching screws. Do not get the wrong screw for the wrong product. So match the products. This is Durock, which is also called Wonderboard. It's also called Cementboard with edge guard, and that's just so you accidentally buy the wrong screws and then have to go back and spend $27 on the right screws.
That's exactly what I was.
Yeah, so that's probably what that's for.
You.
And then you got to tape it, just like drywall. And so we're going to hang the Durock now, and if we need to show you any tips or tricks, we'll let you know. You basically can cut this with a circular saw. They make a cement board saw blade for this that only has 6 teeth. The more teeth, the more dust, and you do not want to breathe this. So in my past, I have never used an electric device to cut Durock. What I use is a utility knife, and you need to have some strength. But if you have a straight edge and you score Durock once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 6 even, then it just breaks like drywall. And you can do that even with cutout shapes. You just keep scoring the same shape for a few, at least 6 or 8 times over, and say if it's a circle here, then you just take a hammer to it and go pop, and pop out the shape. So we're going to get to that because we have a minimum of 1, 2 cutouts. The rest is just straight lay, and so we'll get some of this in and we'll show you how we do it. You ready?
I'm not doing that.
She's a pro.
No, stop.
Take your time, breathe. Make sure it gets set. Yeah. So you want to make sure that you set these screws flush. You don't want to go too deep. They should be pretty flush with the top. You always want to mark your studs. So you notice how we've marked everything here. And then the top is visible.
Oh, a little deep.
Take your time.
That's a little too deep.
Yep, take your time. So the first piece of Durock is in. Yeah, just keep it at that speed. Don't speed it up. Nice. Always readjust. Alright, so the good tip right now is that when you put the first sheet in, you're going to need, if it's 5 foot, to trim the corners here a little bit. And you just shave off some of the corner here and a diagonal. And that's because tubs curve in, most of them. And you won't be able to get this in. This was a little tight, so we were able to put a block up and kind of pack it down to give it the correct reveal. This is the critical part of any tub job. If you do not have this gap, you are doing it incorrectly. And it has to be the same gap for the entire length. And that is where what takes the caulk. It also prevents seepage up into the board. So make sure you have a 1/2 inch gap at the bottom of your cement board. I can't say that enough. And we'll be back when it's all in. So this is just how you score cement board. Just keep going. And just do it again.
Again and again.
And again. And again. Now if you're tired, you don't have to go all the way through. I showed her when I did a cut, in 3 swipes I went through the whole thing. But I mean, if you're tired and you just make sure you've scored it enough, this will easily snap off. And then you just cut the back like a piece of drywall. But you can see how deep she's in there already.
Yeah, it's not that hard.
And there's the strip I cut off, just with a blade. Are you done yet?
It's complete.
So we've got it 6 foot up, rocked in. Fixtures are all sticking out, so you need to make sure you cut the right holes. And we actually are going to be tiling about a foot above the shower head because we want to. And so there's our shower. Next step, we're going to obviously tile, but actually we're not done. So we need to have some Durock down here and here. So I got to put those strips in before these guys get here to do the drywall tomorrow. And they're doing an excellent job. I mean, take a look.
That
All
was
right.
a half-day work.
Yeah, so we have to get these strips in and then we're done. And that's boom. To Durock. Export. And remember, you need the gap, kids. Without the gap, you're a failure. Make sure there's a gap. Be safe. Subscribe to the channel. Share this with like-minded people and leave a fucking gap.